Hey guys, so one of the questions I had when our family decided to go vegan was, what are we gonna feed our soon-to-be teenage son? He's growing quickly, he eats enough to feed a baby elephant, and at the time I thought vegans ate nothing but lettuce and tofu, and that just wasn't gonna work for our family. So I did some research, found a few recipes, and in the end I realized it was gonna be a lot easier to start with the foods that he already liked and just find the vegan version of that. So what you're gonna see in this video are 3 of our family's favorite recipes. Now, you don't have to be a teenager to appreciate and enjoy them. Hopefully you'll find something that your whole family likes, or just get inspired to embrace plant-based cooking. This recipe is inspired by one of our most favorite places to eat back home in Hawaii called Lanikai Juice. While they're best known for their fresh fruit smoothies and acai bowls, my son's favorite was the monkey bowl. Our version contains frozen bananas added to this blender. I added one here. I went ahead and added another a little bit later just to make it a little bit thicker. And then I added 1.5 fresh bananas. If you want it to be really thick, you can use all frozen bananas, but I recommend at least half of a fresh one to add later for your topping. I also added a tablespoon or 2 of peanut butter, a scoop of protein powder, and then I'm gonna add maybe 1/4 to 1/2 cup of non-dairy milk. You don't want it to be as runny as a smoothie, so you're gonna add a little less liquid than you would for a smoothie, just so that it's a nice thick consistency. Then I topped it off with some hemp seeds for that added omega-3 boost. And now we're gonna just go ahead and blend it. Once it's all blended, go ahead and add your sliced banana. I completely forgot to add granola. Normally I top this off with some crunchy granola, but sliced almonds, cacao nibs, and shredded coconut will have to do for now, and it was still pretty delicious. This is my son Taj, and that's how he feels about this monkey bowl. I am really going to take advantage of this and play this on repeat, because it's probably one of the few times he's ever going to let me capture him on video. And there you have it, a delicious, calorie-intense monkey bowl for your growing teenagers. For our next tasty bite, we're going to try the Japanese-inspired onigirazu. Taj is obsessed with all things Japanese, so I've been trying to find as many vegan Japanese foods as possible. I've seen a few different onigirazu videos, so I figured I would give it a try. It's kind of like a sushi sandwich. In this version, I've sliced 2 portobello mushroom caps, and I'm going to drizzle a sauce made of 3 teaspoons toasted sesame oil, 3 tablespoons soy sauce or tamari, 2 tablespoons agave, 3/4 teaspoons ground ginger, and a squeeze of lime. Save some of that sauce for later, as you're gonna want to saute with it. I'm going to top that off with a generous amount of dried garlic, but if you have fresh and you're not too lazy to chop it up, go ahead and add that instead. Next, you're going to want to give that a toss, and hopefully you've used a bigger bowl than I have, because this looks really awkward. Next, heat some oil in a pan and saute your mushrooms several minutes on each side, depending on how thick you've cut your slices. I like my slices on the thick side, so 3 to 4 minutes worked for me. If your pan gets a little dry, you might want to add some water to prevent sticking and burning. I forgot to add the onions with the mushrooms, so I went ahead and sauteed them in the juices that remained in the pan. Okay, now the fun part. Feel free to get creative with the veggies your kids like. I love that I can sneak all kinds of vegetables in here pretty easily. Some recipes suggest adding rice vinegar, sugar, and other seasonings to the rice. I skip that because my kid loves plain or lightly salted rice, and it's one less thing to do. To top that off, I'm going to drizzle a little more of that leftover sauce, probably about a tablespoon. You don't want it to get too soggy. Press that down as best as you can to get it nice and compact. And the nori breaks pretty easily, so if you add water, it prevents breaking and makes it a little easier to stick to each other. All of the recipes that I found use saran wrap, but I don't normally have saran wrap or plastic wrap. I try to avoid so much plastic, so I just went ahead and used another nori sheet or dried seaweed. It doesn't come out as pretty or compact, but I found that it still works. You're just going to want to set your onigirazu down upside down onto another sheet, wet it generously, and then wrap it like a present. All right, I admit, this is a little tricky to do and it takes some practice, but it tastes delicious nonetheless. This was actually my third attempt of the day because no matter what, I could not get it to look very pretty, but it doesn't matter because it tastes good. Our last snack or mini meal of the day is a go-to recipe in my house. I originally found the chickpea sandwich recipe on fullofbeans.us and it was called Better Than Tuna. I'll go ahead and link to that original recipe in the description. I've modified the recipe using more spices, including black salt, which gives it more of an egg salad flavor with everything combined, so I call it Better Than Egg Salad Sandwich. I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of nutritional yeast, 1 teaspoon chili powder, 1 teaspoon ground cumin, 1 teaspoon black salt, 3/4 teaspoons of turmeric, and 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder. I normally add this to a pretty big jar, so I will quadruple the recipe so it lasts a long time, and that way Taj can just go ahead and take out a tablespoon or 2 and he doesn't have to worry about measuring out all the spices every time he's hungry. I've added the recipe for the mix onto the jar and that just makes it much more convenient to always keep it full. For the sandwich, we're going to take 2 cans of garbanzo beans or chickpeas, 1/4 cup of veganese, about 2 tablespoons of the mix that we made, and we've diced 1/2 of a small onion and 2 stalks of celery. Once you've drained and rinsed your garbanzo beans or chickpeas, add it to a bowl much larger than this one. this small bowl makes it a little bit more difficult, as you can see. I also realized that if you add the veganese first, before mashing the chickpeas, it's much faster. So I highly recommend doing that. But as you can see here, I added it after the fact, which is also fine. Just go ahead and mix everything in with your onions, celery, and spices. And there you go. So once it's thoroughly mixed up, go ahead and taste it, adjust for seasonings. If you want it a little creamier, you might want to add more veganese. If you want a little more flavor, go ahead and add more seasoning. But I think this was just about right for us. And it kind of looks like egg salad sandwich. This mix goes really well with just about anything. You can eat it with chips or crackers. You could put it on a pita bread, roll it up into a burrito. But for this particular recipe, I just added it onto some toasted sourdough, which is how I normally eat it. And this is what I would typically pack in his lunch. You could also coat the bread with veganese, but I didn't feel it was necessary because I had enough in the mix. As you can see, there's a lot left over for probably 2 or 3 more sandwiches. Well, that's a wrap for today. I hope you really enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed putting it together for you. Which one are you gonna try? Which one was your favorite? Let me know in the comments. And if you wanna see more videos to help transition your family to a vegan lifestyle, please subscribe. My name's Nia Sanders, and we'll see you again in the next video.